got neon in my veins.
Still got neon in his veins.
This gray hair don't mean a thing.
What about George Jones? Me and George Jones from Beaumont, Texas. He was a little older than me, and he's gone on to be with God, but he was a lot of pleasure to a lot of people for many years. He's a good friend of mine. Thank you very much. My mama used to say that all the time. Yeah. You know, I'm going to change things up just a little bit tonight. I met a real nice guy a few weeks ago. And the highlight of this tour for me is he asked me to say a prayer with him earlier. Now you think about that. When a man walks up to a 74-year-old man and says, Joe, will you pray with me tonight? That's the hope that now I know that I'm on the right track, because people still love God, and we know that's where we need to be. If we're going to be with him someday, we need to pray about it today. I'm going to tell you a short story that I told that a lady liked, and she said, Joe, tell it tonight. So I said, okay. In the 50s, 1950 to 1960, me and my family lived in a little town called Frisco, Texas. Good. My dad was an alcoholic. He drank up everything that he made as quick as he could. 1957, he had a bad stroke. 2 weeks later, while he was in the VA hospital, my mom was taking in the neighbor's laundry and ironing clothes and trying to feed us. And things got worse and worse and worse. And I'd hear her pray at night when she thought we were asleep. And she always prayed, God, just give me the strength to feed my kids. And I thought, man, I'm coming on 8 years old. Mama's in trouble. Daddy's in the hospital. And how much can you put on a lady that wasn't even 40 years old yet? There was a knock on our door one day, and I got up and answered the door. And it was getting cool early in November. And there was an elderly man at the door, and he said, son, is your mom here? And I said, yes, sir. He said, can I speak to her? I said, yes, sir. I went and got her and brought Mom to the door. He said, Miss Penland, I'm from First Baptist Frisco. I know you're going through a hard time right now. I've got some groceries here for you so you can have a Thanksgiving dinner like the rest of us. And he was so happy, and Mom was happy, and I'm standing there, and I'm thinking, I don't recognize this guy. He's not kin to us. The last thing he said to Miss Penland, thanks for the blessing. I really appreciate it. And he left. And we brought the groceries in. I asked Mom, I said, how did you bless this man? He gave us something. She said, Joe, that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to help people that are down and out. He doesn't want us to turn our back on the needy. I said, well, I don't understand. She said, you will someday. A month went by, and there was a knock on the door, and I answered it, and it was that same elderly man. He had a woman with him. He said, son, you remember me? I said, yes, sir. He's going to speak to your mom. So I went and got her, and she came back to the door. He said, Miss Penland, you remember me? I'm from First Baptist Frisco. This is my wife. She has some presents for your boys, some clothes, and I've got a double armload of groceries now, and I want you to have a Christmas dinner, and I want this to last you through the New Year's. And Mama just stood there and looked just a second. She said, my prayers have been answered. He said, that's what I've been praying for. He said, well, Miss Penland, if you'll take this and let us continue to help you, you blessed us, and you made this our very best Christmas ever. And so I looked, and they were all three looking at one another, smiling, crying, but they were all glowing. I could see this was something special for a kid coming 8 years old. So they left. Me and Mama set things down. I said, Mama, I'm really confused now. I said, Joe, hand me my Bible. So I handed it to her, and she thumbed through it like she did every night before we went to bed. She said, and the king said, when you've done for the least of mine, you've done unto me. And she closed her Bible. She said, you understand that? I said, no, ma'am, I don't. She said, sit down, let me explain it. So she did. I said, well, Mama, not if I can, but when I can, I'll help somebody every day. And I have lived to be 74 years old now, and me and my wife have been blessed more than my wildest imagination. We have a foundation, and we have helped thousands of people across the country. And every time I do, And every time I send out presents or food or medicine or help MD Anderson or Texas Children's Hospital or any of the things that we do, it makes me feel just like that old man standing outside my door. Why I'm smiling and why I'm feeling good tonight. Now, by some real smart people's calculations, we have about 100 million people in this country that are going through some hard times and on Social Security and got a lot of problems. They're the least of God's people. I don't expect to go to everybody's house, and I don't expect you to. But November the 5th, if we'll put Donald Trump back in the White House, then we've done all we can do humanly possible to help every one of those people that God knows are in trouble. He's the only person that has the backbone to straighten this country out. And if JD will go to the University of Trump for 4 years and learn all he can learn, and stay another 8 years, we'll have America back where she should be. I'd ask you to go to joefromtexas.com and read about this old man and what we're doing, because we're going to save your Social Security. They say it's running out, and I say that's un-American, and I've been to Washington a bunch of times, and they're going to see us a lot in the years to come. But that next president, when you put him back in there, he can fix it, and he'll do it. God bless Tucker Carlson. God bless each and every one of you. And God bless the United States of America.